morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. I wasn't here to be able to say happy Monday, but it is Tuesday. Sorry I was gone yesterday. Richard was so gracious to let me off and play that last Monday. So if you missed last Monday's, which was phenomenal because of, Deanie Harmon and Bob Berry are like the best on the Whodunit. That's every Monday, the Whodunit show. And it's so exciting. I mean, it's a past real crime, but it's in the past. But they give us the clues that they ran upon when they came up on the scene. These are the clues that happen. Deanie Harmon is a 17-year veteran, a narcotics agent from HPD. Bob Berry, lieutenant of the Conroe PD, and they have plenty of stories. And they give us what they saw. And then a lot of times the officers are the first ones to arrive on the scene, so they see all the stuff that's happened, and they start writing it down. And the detectives get there, then they question them and find out what has happened, what they found out. And so you're getting to be the detective and try and figure it out. And it's so much fun because, man, I get caught up in all those forensic files and all that. That is just so interesting to me. And you feel like you've already got the person snagged. And, you're not supposed to judge by first appearances, but, just, we can't help it. That's how we are. That's how we roll. That's how we do. And so when you hear those clues and you start surmising in your mind what it is, and we've all watched maybe too many movies because you go straight to to what you think it might have happened based on what you have seen in the movies. But I love it. And so if you want to join us every Monday, and then you be part of it if you want to by going to my Facebook page, The Cindy Cochran Show, Cochran, and go to the Facebook page and go to messages, click on messages, and you will be able to react to what's going on, ask questions, what's going on, and I will read that over the air. So please join us in our interactive Mondays on Whodunit, and you will have, it's so much fun. It's just because this is real. These things really happened. It's not made up. It's not, but sometimes it does sound just like it's out of the movies, and I want you to be a part of it. Also, I want to remind everybody that this Thursday, we're going to have Don Wilson on because and if you've listened to the Cindy Cochran Show for a while, you've heard Don Wilson. Don Wilson is my LA connection. He is maybe the only Republican that I would ever know in LA, but he's a staunch Republican, and he has got all this stuff down pat. And he says, I talk to people, and I'm not talking to anyone that's going to vote for Hillary. And I went, what? He goes, yeah, the people I talk to, and the women I talk to say they just want to slap her. And that was interesting, because they're so mad at her. So I think a lot of times we do get a rigged, announcement and pronouncements from the anchor people on a lot of these, ABC, NBC, CBS and all that, for what's really going on. And so we may all find out that Donald was right. But we got to say yay, tonight's World Series first game, and the Cleveland Indians and Chicago Cubs are playing. And the Cleveland Indians, they've not won a World Series since 1948. That's the year I was born. So that's been quite a while back before they've had a win like they may have this time. And the Chicago Cubs haven't won a tournament since 1908. 1908. So they got a lot to prove. And this is going to be a good horse race, because if it was, we would want, of course, our own team there. But if they can't be there, and so we see these two guys, and there's some history, there's some drama, there's some something to it, may make it fun to watch and see. But the fans are going crazy. They were showing stories about how they were doing, and it was amazing. But anyway, you listen, I saw a commercial last night, and I started thinking, man, I really have to think about that. These clearinghouse winners, and you see they bring the balloons and the flowers and this big check to give the people, and the way the people look when they come to the door. It's so funny. I don't think people answer the door anymore. But maybe if you looked out and you saw the big check with your name on it and the balloons and the flowers, you would do it. But that is something that I don't know how I would react. It would be so weird. But they give you the option. Here's the question. Here's the option. $10,000 a week for the rest of your life, or $10 million, one payment of $10 million. What would you choose? What would be your choice? I think it would depend on how old I am. They wouldn't have to pay that much out for me. But if it was like, my daughter that won it and in her 30s, then that would be probably a lot of money put out. But that $10 million, if you're old, you'd probably pick the $10 million and be happy with that. But getting a check for $10,000 a week, wow. And speaking of $10,000 a week, listen, if you know anyone that would like to sponsor, no, it's not that expensive, this show, if you have someone that has a new business and they want to get in on the beginning stages, because we'll be, ground floor on the Conroe's FM station, 104.5 and 106.1. How exciting for them to be able to be in on the ground floor with that, and to have the reach that we're going to have to all in Montgomery County. That's going to be so exciting. So that's going to happen next week. So I'm asking if you have someone that would like to sponsor the Cindy Cochran Show. It's extremely affordable. It's so affordable. And so I want you to contact me. You can message me on my Facebook page, which would be great. The Cindy Cochran Show would be wonderful. Or you can go to the Cindy Cochran Show at gmail.com, and if you want to email me. Anyway, either way, but if you know someone that has a new business and that would like it, because you know how positive and how much they will be talked about. But this is a sponsorship, and it just be like your favorite baseball team that you want to go out and sponsor. So anyway, talk to someone and see if you have a friend that might be interested in this, and they'll probably have to listen to the shows. And if you want to listen to the shows, here's an exciting thing, is that I have a channel on YouTube. And I'm going to try and be posting up the links that you can get to the shows that we've previously had, like the last week shows and shows coming up. But I was starting to talk about Don Wilson. This is a show you'll definitely want to have the link to, and I have to get up quickly after we have talked with him. He is the guy that I met back in 1976. He was only 15 years old, and I was at Channel 13 doing the news, and he came up, talked to me, and asked me could he get a picture with me? And I said, sure, and I took a picture with him. Now, I was pregnant with Chad at the time, and all of a sudden, one day, I get this picture, and this guy says, are you the same Cindy Cochran that worked at Channel 13? And I went, yeah, and so he wrote me back why he was there at 13. It was because he received the last letter that Elvis Presley wrote before his death. And that was because Elvis Presley took Don Wilson under his wing when all of his family had been killed tragically in an automobile accident. And I thought, wow, I never heard that side of Elvis, and I thought he was a sweet guy, but wow. And he took him under his wing and helped with mentoring him. And Don had lived with his grandmother here in Houston, but then after he grew up, he moved to L.A., and he, just continued his friendship, and that grew with Elvis until his death. And so he knows all those guys. He knows all the things that were going on and happening behind the scenes, and all. Very interesting to talk to. But he has his own thing that he does in his business, and he is also booking people. In line with that, one of Elvis's girlfriends, Mindy Miller, started listening to the show, and she listened to the show, and she liked the show, and he told me about it, and I went, wow, well, can we interview her? Would she come on the show? And she said, sure. And so next Wednesday, she will be on the show, and we'll be interviewing her. I'm shopping at Kroger, and well, let me tell you about that when we get back from a break. It's time to go to a break, and listen, guys, this is amazing. I'm shopping at Kroger, and who do I get a call from? All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
The Cindy Cochran Show.
Lone Star Community Radio is FM. That's right. Set your radio dials and your button presets to Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1, coming in June of 2016. To celebrate this edition and the addition of video versions of our talk and music shows on YouTube, cable TV, and Our City TV, we are offering special sponsorships rates, which include free audio spots that are played throughout our broadcast. Interested? Check out our sponsor rates for shows just like the one you're listening to online at irlonestar.com/sponsor, or call the station at 936-647-5747. Reaching the people of Montgomery County with Montgomery County's community radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Thank you so much for joining us. I know there's some of you that may be having some technical difficulty. In fact, Don had checked in real quick and said he was having difficulty hearing. And so Richard, like a Flash, is on it. And he's, and it's because of Flash, because maybe Flash is the problem. But anyway, he's on it. So all of you that can still hear me, because we have like 15 jillion ways to hear this show. So let me tell you, I'm walking down the aisle at Kroger's, and I get a call, and I say, hello? And it's Mindy Miller, and she's calling me to talk about how we're going to do the show and all that, and how excited. This was so exciting. I'm sitting here in the middle of Kroger, and I'm talking to one of Elvis's girlfriends. This is amazing, and Mindy will be on the show next Wednesday. To remind you, next Wednesday she'll be on the show. And if you have some questions for Mindy, in fact, my sister, who was and still is, I would think the number one fan of Elvis. I'm sure there's more number one fans, but she loved Elvis. And when she found out about his death, when they announced his death, she's an accountant, a CPA. She drops everything she's doing. She tells her husband, meet me at the airport. They get tickets and they go to Memphis. And they have to be there. They just have to be there close to him. So that's a true fan. That was amazing. And everybody knows where they were, especially my age. They know where they were when they heard that news. And it was just surreal. It just couldn't be. And what's cool about Mindy is Mindy said, I don't want to talk about anything negative. There have been so many negative stories, so many negative magazine articles from people that were close to him, and he wouldn't have liked that. He would not have liked that. He didn't mind things that were positive or things that were uplifting to talk about and funny things. He liked that. But when these people delved into the dark side of things that, were very personal and things that you only thought this was your best friend and they would never say anything like this, that was difficult for him. So Mindy has kind of started championing, I can't say the word, she's taken up the banner, okay, and crusade for Elvis's legacy. And this will be only her third interview, she said, so I'm very privileged, very honored that she's chosen to do this. And Don is being her, he's her booking agent and just really good friend. She's known him for forever, so it was great. He helped along with this. So we're really excited about that. We're excited about Don talking to us this Thursday, and then next week, Wednesday, Mindy Miller. Boy, Don, I know you're listening, and I know we have so much to talk about. I am fiercely writing all these notes down of things that are going on. There's so much wiki leaking that it's become a deluge of information that we have. I don't know how people, I really don't know how people are, digesting all of this. Are they able to, have they just shut their brain down? Like after the final debate, did they just even quit listening to anything? And of course, they announced today that all of the races, the battleground states and all that are tightening, and it's so exciting. It's just like, wow. I think more than even the first debate, there's going to be an amazing number of people watching that night to see what happens on November 8th. So I'm going to tell you the story of my early voting experience. Yesterday I went to vote. I thought, and the reason everybody early votes is because they're not going to have to wait in any kind of line. And I just had a feeling that this year it's going to be pretty bad. But the early voting, I walked up there and I went, wait a minute, are they having a convention here? It's at the Montgomery County Community Center. And you never see that many cars, ever see that many cars, except if they're holding a convention in the convention center. But I walked in sheepishly, like, am I in the right place? Is the right time? And there they were. There lines, snaking around in that convention center, all the way out the 2 doors that they had for people to come in. They had 3 times the amount of voting booths. It was absolutely incredible. And like I said in my post, that it made me smile because there was that much interest. Those people standing in line that long has to make you smile. I don't care who they're voting for. It's just the fact that they took that time to do that. And they care about this country, and they're exercising the most honored thing that we're able to do here. So I got in line, and this guy that got in line behind me, he was dressed in green fatigues, but I couldn't tell what he was. I said, what service are you with? And he said, I'm with the state troopers, and then he said some acronym after that. I don't know. But they help patrol the borders. And they work the borders 1 week on and 1 week off. And he's in one of the boats that goes around and that will search as people trying to cross into Texas. It was so great. And I said, and I just started this conversation. If you're standing in line for a long time, you become best friends. You would never do this to people, just start talking to them. Well, maybe I would. But he was so sweet. He was so wonderful. He just wanted to talk, and his voice was kind of booming. So I started talking to him, and it became an interview. And so then I'd ask him about, well, can you tell me what do you do at night? He says we all wear night vision, goggles, and we can see what's going on. And he was telling me about the different equipment that they had that was just amazing. Like they could read with this one type of binocular they have. They could read a license plate on a car 5 miles away. This is just amazing stuff they have. They have this, and the surveillance equipment. So I kept talking to him, and I noticed that people were gathering, people that were in line, but they were gathering up around us to hear him and what he was saying. And it was so fascinating to listen to this guy. He says, I'm 1 week in and 1 week off, but I was on my way to McAllen, Texas, and I had to stop and vote. There's nothing but stop me from voting. And I didn't ask him who he's voting for or anything like that, but he was just an amazing guy, and that his duty, his sense of duty is just so amazing, and that he loves this country, and he, and the way he feels about trying to get people that are trying to come in here illegally. I said, what do you do once you get them? What do you do? And he says, well, we make sure they have, something to drink and food, and we get them seated, and then, then the other officials, ICE officials, come and they take them, and then they put them in a place where they can keep them there until they kind of vet them in the way that they can get them back home. And so they try. He says, we really try. We try to be, as humane as possible and do what we can for them. But it's just amazing how many people are trying so desperately to get here, that there's a reason. And I know the reason is because this country's so great. And he just lifted all of us. All of us were just like, that's so wonderful. And then, finally it was my time to vote. And everybody was just, thank you for your service. We appreciate you so much. You don't understand what this means to hear you keep up the good work. So he felt really good too, I think, by the time that was all over with. And so when when I got in there, it's going to be straight Republican, okay? It's going to be that way. But it doesn't matter. I have to touch that button and click on that vote, every single one. And then at the end, they show you the whole thing again, which was good. And I wanted to take a picture of it. But they said you can't do that. You can't take a picture of your ballot. And I didn't know why. I thought I'd love to have a picture of my ballot so that I could see what I had, and a record of it, because everybody talking about, and there's so many stories going around. It was so funny. There's so many stories going around saying, well, I heard up in the, Harris County or something like that they voted and it went to another person. And that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of if I hit one person and then I stood there to see if it would change or whatever. But, I pray that isn't really happening. I just don't want to believe it. I just want to stick my head in the sand and say, I don't believe that is absolutely happening. But these guys out there that try and work so hard to secure our borders, to give us the right, that have fought past and present, these people that are fighting for our freedom, and for someone to stay home and say, it's already over, I'm not going to put my 2 cents in. But if you don't vote, if you don't put your 2 cents in, it's hard for you to have the kind of credibility you need to argue the facts. And I love to argue things. There's no way that I'm not going to make sure, if they say, well, did you vote? And I go, yes, ma'am, I did. I voted. And I think that it has become so funny to listen to all these news people. And we've been saying this for how long? A year? We've been talking about how these news people have just gone on. And every time they make these pontifications about it's all over, Hillary's going to win, he should have never said that, or he should have never done that, or whatever. And there he is. There he is, sitting right up there going, it's all rigged. But it was all rigged. Donald, you got there, so shut up now and enjoy what you're saying to the people that are still getting them so excited. In fact, in Florida, which is, they say it's a battleground state. They say that Hillary had an edge there and all that, if you believe the polls. But you look at all of the rallies Donald Trump is having. He's got 25,000 on the last rally. There he was, 25,000. And Tim Kaine, her running mate, she sends out her surrogates like, Michelle Obama and Obama to go out and try and rally the enthusiasm that they need. But Tim Kaine, they had a picture of his little rally, and there were 30 people there. So you do wonder, like, what? Are these people just coming for the show and so they don't expect them to be voting? But there was a guy that called in, we got to go to another break. Okay, I got to tell you about this guy that went to a rally and why he believes that they've got it all wrong, because he has actual proof, he thinks. All right, guys, you're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show. It is real, a reality, a radio.
The Cindy Cochran Show. Real reality radio.
We're starting to film our talk shows and putting them on YouTube. Your favorite Lone Star Community Radio show can be seen on YouTube under our Lone Star Community Radio channel and on City of Conroe's Our City TV channel on Suddenlink Channel 12. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see the most recently released videos and find more information online at irlonestar.com/TV.
And you're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Thank you so much for listening. We know you have a choice. So if you choose to sit with us for an hour and we'll hash over some things, and you're always invited and to come to the Cindy Cochran Facebook page. And if you want to ask a question, make a comment, or whatever, we would love to have you. So I'm going to post a picture of Don Wilson and Mindy Miller that I have, as soon as I can do 3 things at one time. I cannot. I can only talk about this. I'm just chomping at the bit to get into some of the stuff that I had prepped for, and that was, of course, I've been listening to the Veritas tapes. The Veritas Veritas tapes are the ones where they've gone undercover and get embedded in some Democratic functions or whatever, and the people that are ahead of this have been just spilling their guts, and so there's tape to this. I think that Hillary's campaign has taken the position that if anybody asks them about WikiLeaks, they're now throwing it to the fact that, well, I'm not going to comment on that because that is something that the Russians are doing, and we haven't verified any of that, so I'm not going to even comment on it. And that's how they deflect. Deny, deny, deny. She was taught by a mentor early in the stages of her coming into community service to, if you get in trouble, you deny, deny, deny. And so people start, so much of this coming in. They're lucky that he releases like 20,000 a day because nobody has the time to really get into it. And I think by them denying, that's great, and it's on paper, but they know it's true. Anyway, these Veritas tapes, which this guy will probably be put in prison and never heard of again, like the guy that was supposed to have done the video about bin Laden. But he stated that he had a tape showing that Hillary Clinton was in collusion with these people to disrupt Donald Trump's rallies. And so I don't know if it's her idea about the Donald Duck. He's ducking his putting out his tax returns. And so they had Donald Duck, the Disney character, dress up and kind of look like Donald Trump. And then he would go out and they'd hold these signs, and these ducks would go along and at a rally and really upset the people that are there for Trump. And she agreed to it, and she said it wouldn't bother her at all. That's a great thing to do. And so they were paid by them, and they tried to reroute the money so that they didn't get in trouble, because Donna Brazile, the head of the DNC now, had said this might look like a conflict, or might look bad for us. And so she's in on it. So they all discussed this. They all knew about it, and it was certainly approved, and go send the ducks out. So that's what they've got her on, and that's actually an illegal thing because she can't pay any outside group to go in and disrupt a rally of her opponent. So we'll see. Nothing's going to happen, but it just keeps confirming a lot of things that we think is going on, and we feel kind of conspiratorialist. When you think everything's a conspiracy, but it keeps being proven, and there's a basis to now all of our paranoia. Also,
Well, did you hear about what happened today?
What happened
this morning with the new email leaks?
Well, tell me, because I thought I'd listened to the news.
There was an email sent to Sherry Mills, and Sherry Mills is the
this is her,
the assistant to Hillary Clinton, and
right.
Basically this guy goes, hey, this lady, this journalist, Catherine Miller, asked the President of the United States, when did he find out about the email server? Mm-hmm. And he links the tweet to Sherry Mills, and it says, Jen, you probably have more on this, but it looks like POTUS just said he found out HRC was using her personal email when he saw it on the news. She responds, we need to clean this up. He has emails from her. They do not say state.gov.
Right.
So
right.
This is a big deal just because that counters what he said that same day.
Right.
And that's where people are thinking that that's why she deleted the 30,000 emails, because it was him. They
have an email back and forth that says, should we hold back POTUS emails? Like, hold them back. That was the one that went through
if you remember that conversation we had last week about the Reddit guy asking questions about the very VIP, now they're thinking that's who it was.
Right.
Was the president, not Hillary Clinton.
Exactly. That he can't be involved in that because he already lied about when he knew it. And that's what just kills you, is that, and following that, right now there's talking about, and he tried to defend Obamacare. I'm now, because of honoring Halloween, we're going to call it Obamacare, because now these people are finding out that their premiums, everything's going up, and it's going up, skyrocketing, what they're going to be paying for this. all that lying about, you're going to save about $2,500. Now, I'm not trying to do his voice, but this is how people were talking. You're going to save $2,500 a year getting on Obamacare. And remember the mandatory fee that you would have to pay if you didn't get it? Do you remember that? The $2,000?
Well, it goes up every year.
Yeah, well, it's now $700 is what they were talking about today, and they're discussing like tripling it to make these younger people buy into it, because the younger people, the millennials, would rather pay the fine. It's like ridiculous. I'll just pay the fine.
Well, depending on your state, your fine's even smaller. Still smaller.
When you mean depending on where you live?
Depending on where you live, because they're reporting Arizona is going to go up 75%.
I heard so 100% is 100%, and they're really mad, and it's because they. I mean, I know you know this, but that they were depending on young people to buy into this because of this mandate, and that they would be paying for the older generation, my generation, that's coming into healthcare big time. And it'll all like wash. It'll be great. But they didn't do that. And people that had, and also all the people that they allowed in that had pre-existing, conditions, they've got to take them. And so, boy, now all the insurance companies that are jumping ship, and they can't do it. And the doctors that are leaving in droves because of Medicare is killing them. So they've got that so messed up, and Obama comes out on the stage, and with a straight face, he says, "Well, look at the iPhone 7. Look at all the problems they're having. I mean, the thing catches on fire.
That's the Galaxy Note.
The Galaxy Note. That's right. A Galaxy Note, and look at all the problems they're having." They don't repeal that. They don't drop it. They don't start over again. They just fix it. You just fix it. It's all you got to do.
No, they stopped making them.
I know.
They lost over $1 billion.
And as they said, he forgot to tell them that.
Which they can probably claim on their taxes.
That's right. And not have to pay taxes for 15 years. But anyway, he's talking about, this is silly. So he's comparing the Obama scare with all of our, problems that we have with the phone. And people are not going, they're not going to get any kind of care because they can't afford to pay for it outright because of how bad the insurance is on this. And so anyway, I don't know. I know he's just supposed to be smiling in a sense that he doesn't have to deal with this in a couple of weeks. He's going to go play golf. But he's fighting so hard for Hillary to win and going out. And instead of taking care of, the Russians moving in to the English Channel and the ISIS problem and all that, he's going and campaigning for her. He's taking all that time to do that. That doesn't make sense to me. He should be doing other things to help try and prop up his legacy. I think he just didn't want to have to be able to be the one to, pardon her or something. But there it is. And so I feel like that if he can't see that Joe Biden, who was chomping at the bits to run, and because they knew all these problems that Hillary had, but Obama, for some reason, and you can just speculate what you think the reason, came out and stood there at the Rose Garden right next to him while he read his acceptance speech, which it really was. He talked about how great it would have been if he could have run, and then ended with, "I'm not going to run." And Obama took a sigh of relief. And then went on with Hillary, with all her problems. Like, did he not think that this was all going to come out in the wall? Are you crazy? So anyway, I'm amazed at the arrogance and how these people can feel like we can say or do anything we want to. And in a couple of weeks, it's all over. It's gone. Nobody talks about it anymore. And in a sense, that's true. A lot of times, advertisers and all that will think if they have a problem with a product, don't worry, people will forget all about it. We'll just do some new ads and get them back in the fold again. But it hurts when every day something's coming out. But these people, I think, they're just numbed by it. And to slap them into, did you know that she She was involved and in collusion with being able to disrupt rallies for Donald Trump. That's like extremely like low, working. But we think they're all going to do it. They're all going to do it. Everybody's bad. So just, which is the worst? Which is the worst one? And she was talking about how Donald Trump would be such a bad role model for the kids, the children. Why would we even think about setting him up as president as a role model for the children? And I'm telling you, Hillary, think about what you have done and what we're having to talk about, your part in criminal activity, and you want us to put you up as the role model? Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. People are starting to see through you. And a lot of times women, they're thinking, oh, we get a first woman president and all that. But some of the stuff you've done, we know. We understand why you've done what you've done, but it's wrong. And you may not be the woman yet. And all that experience don't mean nothing if it's bad experience. And that's what we've had with you. I lived through and remembered all the things that you were doing and we were having to react to and we were having to deal with. I remember that, Hillary, and so it's hard a lot of times to hear you say things and go like, that's not how it is. So anyway, I feel like it's almost on top of us. 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks, and then we're there. And my birthday's going to be November 6th. That's 2 days before the actual election. So I'll have that to look forward to, and just keep reminding you about my birthday. But a lot of things are happening quickly, and I think that if we just, go back and sit down, and you can take your time and think about who it is that you feel like is going to be the best sitting in that office that hasn't already had a chance and prove themselves incompetent. Donald Trump hasn't been in an office to say all the things that people have said about him, how he's going to act and what he's going to do. But Hillary has. Hillary has proven herself not to be ready for prime time. She did that with the way that she handled these emails, with her lying, with her I can't recall, with her, beating up the phones, with her destroying destroyed the emails. Something's there. And if it wasn't, then you shouldn't have done all that stuff, because that's what it looks like. And our perception is going to be our reality. And you haven't given us any reasons why we shouldn't believe that. You really haven't. So this is our time to say, no, it's not your time right now, Hillary. We're going to put this off. And we're going to try and get someone in there who might, try and do the right thing, who might do this. But we know you won't, because you had your chance, you had your shot, and you couldn't even do that. Maybe you were just really angry, Hillary, at the fact that you did not win the presidency. And Obama, you felt like, was throwing you a bone. And so now I'm Secretary of State, so I'm going to use my foundation. I'm going to pump up this foundation. I'm going to run for president after this, and I'm going to show, I'm going to get back at you all. And maybe this is a big vengeance thing for you. But whatever it is, it ain't right. It's just not right. The things that we've seen and what we've heard. You've got beautiful grandchildren. Go home, be with the grandchildren. You should be happy to be able to do that. And just count it was you had a good fight. You raised a whole lot of money, and be happy with that. I'm just telling you. I hope that's the way it's going to happen. But, of course, nobody knows. Nobody knows. That's why it's going to be the biggest event of the century to watch all the results come in. And, in my mind, in my imagination, I see the faces of Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper and all those people going, what? What? No way. So what did you say? It's how much? But I thought we saw the map. What? I've already played that out in my mind, so I've enjoyed it. So if it doesn't happen, that's okay, because I've already enjoyed it, and it's been great. But anyway, guys, be sure, and remember that we've got so much going on, and I think that I cannot see the clock. Have I got? How much time do I have? I've got to wrap up. I thought I was feeling that. I was feeling like we were getting closer and closer to the end there. So you guys be with us tomorrow, and we will just keep this up and keep the fight going. Keep the fight going. Okay, we will see you tomorrow, and you'll be listening to me. The Cindy Cochran Show. It's real reality radio.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schisler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schisler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.